Episode 1 of Agent Kim Reactivated begins with Mr. Kim walking home alone at night, only to be harassed and beaten by a group of thugs in the street. It's a brutal opening, but what's interesting is how passive he seems about it. He takes a beating, says very little, and heads home like this is just another bad day. And Mr. Kim lives with his daughter Minji, and it's clear straight away that their relationship is strained. He's a single father, doing his best, but Minji is at that awkward teenage stage where everything he does seems to annoy her. The next morning, Minji heads to school, where she crosses paths with the local dry cleaner who saw what happened to her dad the night before. He almost tells her about it, but decides against it. Meanwhile, Mr. Kim heads into work at Sangsan Savings Bank, where he notices something suspicious in his boss's corporate expenses. However, most of this opening episode is split between Kim's quiet, beaten down life and Minji's struggles at school. She's being bullied by a group of girls, led by Hairi, who takes every opportunity to belittle her. Things get worse when Minji's gym clothes are thrown away, forcing one of the boys, Nam Hoon, to lend her his sweatshirt. It's a small gesture, but it clearly means a lot to her. Naturally, this catches Hairi's attention, and jealousy starts bubbling away in the background. At the same time, we're introduced to two of Mr. Kim's old acquaintances, a taekwondo teacher and Park Jin Chol, a strange but loyal former Marine who spends his time hanging around the trailer pretending he's still in active service. The pair eventually meet Mr. Kim at a diner, where we learn they clearly have some sort of a history together. That same gang of thugs we saw from the opening then arrive at the diner too, and Kim quietly hands them money before trying to leave. But when the thugs start causing trouble and provoking them, Jin Chol snaps and beats the entire group down in a street. It's a messy fight, no doubt, and the police eventually show up and taser him. The next day, things take an uglier turn at school too. She hits Minji and mocks her for being motherless, pushing Minji to finally fight back. And Mr. Kim is called into school, but this is where we learn just how powerful Hairi's family actually is. Her father, Mr. Ju, is the chairman of Ju-Hack Construction and has political connections as well. He's currently involved in a redevelopment deal with Assemblyman Shin, and he's clearly not someone to be trifled with. In fact, Mr. Ju's body is covered in old scars, which we learn came from tattoos he burned off himself because he was ashamed for his daughter to see them. It tells us everything we need to know about the man, given he's ruthless, violent, and absolutely terrifying when crossed. At the school meeting, Hairi's mother goes on the attack, while Mr. Kim simply shrinks and apologises. Minji tries to defend herself, but he tells her to stay quiet. Then, shortly after, Mr. Kim drops to his knees and begs for forgiveness on Minji's behalf. Mr. Ju agrees to let things go, but only if Minji transfers to another school. He also quietly threatens the staff, making it clear that if anything like this happens again, he'll destroy everyone involved. On the way home, Minji is furious. She feels humiliated by her father and can't understand why he refused to stand up for her. Things get even more emotional when he brings up her birthday, and she snaps back that she hates her birthday because it's the same day that her mother died. That night, Mr. Kim visits his wife's memorial and remembers a conversation they had when she was pregnant. She told him that honeysuckles were her favourite flowers because they symbolise love and devotion. He apologises to her, clearly feeling like he's failed both her and their daughter. Meanwhile, Minji receives a text from Nam Hoon asking her to meet him near the school's back gate. Unfortunately, something goes horribly wrong. Kim tries calling her at midnight, but she doesn't answer. We then see Minji lying unconscious somewhere. The next morning, she's still missing. Mr. Kim calls a friend, only to learn that Minji never stayed with her at all. He rushes to the school and eventually finds blood leading to a nearby construction site. There he discovers a pool of blood, along with Hairi's hair tie. As the rain begins to fall, Hairi arrives with a thug and Mr. Kim confronts them. The thug tries to attack him, but this time something changes. Kim dodges effortlessly, and when his clothes are torn, we see his body is covered in scars. It turns out Mr. Kim isn't just some ordinary helpless office worker. He's codenamed 66, a North Korean defector and former operative recruited by South Korean intelligence. The timid father we've seen all episode disappears in an instant, replaced by this absolute badass. Mr. Kim takes the thug apart with frightening ease, and the episode ends with him fully reactivated, furious, and ready to find out what happened to his daughter. Episode 2 of Agent Kim Reactivated. opens with a flashback to 2008, where we see Agent Kim during his time at Cheongsang Unit in Gangwon Province. Back then, Kim was ordered to assassinate Deputy Director Kim Jong-sun, a hardliner connected to the General Bureau of Intelligence on South Korea. He was also responsible for killing secret operatives involved in inter-Korean peace talks, although the official story released to the public blamed his death on a North Korean soldier. After completing the mission, Kim rushes to the hospital where his wife has just given birth to their daughter Min-ji. Tragically, his wife dies shortly after childbirth, but before passing away, she asks Kim to forget his past and live only as Min-ji's father. This brings us back to the present, where Kim holds his boss at gunpoint and demands to be discharged. His boss agrees, and from that point on, Agent Kim disappears, and in his place we get Mr. Kim, a quiet, ordinary father who lives for his daughter. However, we soon find out what really happened to Min-ji. And Nam-hoon never sent that text. It turns out a group of thugs cornered him, took his phone, and used it to lure Min-ji to the school's back gate. When she arrived, Hyri, the other bullies, and the thugs were waiting for her. Min-ji tried to fight back, but she's obviously badly outnumbered. The group beat her down and Hyri eventually knocks her unconscious. While all of this is happening, Mr. Kim is at home preparing for Min-ji's birthday, completely unaware that his daughter is in danger. After the attack, one of the thugs warns the girls not to say anything, and he then contacts his boss, Oh Min-chol, from the Golden Teeth gang asking for help getting rid of Min-ji. However, another man is also listening in, someone called Golden Teeth. This is the same scarred goon we saw earlier at Mr. Ju's office. He steps in, offers to help, and has Min-ji placed in the trunk of his car. He also secretly records Hyri offering him money to cover the whole thing up. On the drive back, he tells her he'll take care of the body and warns her not to tell her father. From here we return to the end of episode 1, with Mr. Kim confronting one of the thugs at a construction site. The thugs claim he doesn't know anything, but Kim doesn't believe him. Afterward, Kim heads home and starts hallucinating Min-ji in the house. It's a pretty heartbreaking moment because he's clearly beginning to unravel. He then shows up late to work, ignores Sang-a's calls, and quietly prepares to tear through anyone connected to his daughter's disappearance. And that leads him straight to Oh Min-chol. Oh Min-chol and his loan sharks are busy threatening a man over an unpaid debt. And just as they drag the man's daughter away, the doorbell rings and Mr. Kim shows up. What follows is a pretty brutal fight, with Kim taking down the loan sharks and saving the girl just in time. Min-chol manages to escape, but not before being badly injured by thin wires. Meanwhile, Han-soo is still in prison after Jin-chol's brawl at the diner. Jin-chol, as usual, is not taking anything seriously, while the laundromat owner finds footage of the fight online. Unfortunately, that video has now gone viral. This causes a much bigger problem, because as we jump across to North Korea, we see the General Bureau of Intelligence spotting Kim in the footage and immediately identifying him as a Tier 1 threat. The higher-ups discuss bringing him back in, but decide to wait until the inter-Korean peace talks are over. However, one of them is furious about this. He points out that Kim, otherwise known as number 66 of course, once wiped out an entire platoon by himself. And while the only man capable of taking him down, Park Yong-gwang, is dead, his younger brother is still alive. And he's apparently just as dangerous. Back in South Korea, the Special Missions Directorate is also alarmed by Kim's return. Director Kang Guk-chol, codenamed Mole Cricket, receives a report linking Kim to Park Jin-chol, the diner brawl, and North Korea's sudden activity. In other words, Kim's search for Min-ji has now triggered alarms on both sides of the border. Kim eventually catches Min-chol and tortures him for information. Min-chol explains that he and the other thugs were recruited through a temporary Telegram chat, and once the job was done, the messages and group were deleted. He also tries to hide behind the law, smugly claiming that because most of them are minors, they'll get off lightly. Kim pulls a gun on him and that smugness soon disappears rather quickly. Min-chol admits he's actually over 20 and then receives a message telling him to make sure his group stays quiet. Kim calls the number but no one answers. On the other end, Golden Teeth realises something is wrong and he tells the others to delete the chat room and throw away the phone. The final message says that a girl's body has been taken care of. Kim is devastated, believing Min-ji is dead, and he prepares to shoot Min-chol, but the police arrive before he can pull the trigger. Elsewhere, Hyri is starting to panic over what happened. Mr. Ju visits and tells her to let go of what Minji did, but this isn't really comfort, it's more of a lesson. He tells Hyri that people should tremble when they see her, and that no one should ever think she's an easy target. We then learn more about Mr. Ju's past here. Back in 2016, he was a violent thug who built his empire by taking over construction companies. Golden Teeth also reveals that he owes Mr. Ju, which explains why he's being so careful with this whole situation. As Kim is taken away in a police van, North Korea makes its next move. A new spy enters South Korea by sea, and this man is revealed to be Park Yong-kwang's younger brother. His mission is simple: kill Mr. Kim, and he's also given the title Number 66. After meeting his handler, the new 66 receives Kim's latest location, a car and a gun. He then disguises himself as a police officer and heads to the station. There he finds Jin Chol and asks about Kim. Jin Chol doesn't give him a straight answer at first, but when 66 threatens him with a gun, he gives up Kim's home address. Jin Chol then creates a scene by choking his cellmate and uses the chaos to escape. Meanwhile, Golden Teeth listens back to the recording of Hyri offering him money. He has the audio edited, clearly preparing to use it as leverage, and he then opens the trunk of his car and scolds one of his men for not covering Minji's body properly. Only it turns out Minji isn't actually dead. At the police station, Kim refuses to say a word during interrogation, and the police try to check his fingerprints, but access to his records have been denied, making it clear just how buried his past really is. Just then, Kim's phone rings, and it turns out to be Minji. He answers, and the episode ends with Kim finally hearing from his daughter, or at least someone using her phone. Well, hello Taecyeon. Even though it's only a short cameo, it's still a really fun surprise seeing this guy pop up here, and it immediately adds another layer of intrigue to Agent Kim's past. And that's something that these opening 2 episodes have done a really good job with so far. The pacing is strong, the story keeps moving, and episode 1 in particular did a great job splitting its focus between Mr. Kim's quiet, beaten down life and Minji's struggles at school. By the time everything goes wrong, we're already invested in both of them. Before everything is switched up, Minji becomes a damsel in distress and Kim adopts his old moniker. We get the flashbacks to Kim's past, the truth behind Minji's attack, Golden Teeth entering the picture too, and North Korea realising that Kim has resurfaced. There's a lot going on, but the show never really feels all that messy. Instead, it feels more like the show is opening up the board and moving all of its pieces into place. I'm definitely relieved that Minji is still alive, no question, although given how much blood she's lost, the big question is whether Kim can reach her in time. This adds a nice ticking clock element to the show, and Golden Teeth is an interesting wildcard too. He may look like just another thug, but the fact he records Hyri, edits the audio and clearly understands how dangerous Mr. Ju is suggests that he's a lot more intelligent than he first appears. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing both sides here, or even becomes instrumental in bringing Mr. Ju down further on down the line. Ju is shaping up to be a strong villain as well, and I do wonder whether he and Kim have crossed paths before, especially given Ju's criminal past and Kim's history as an operative. Then there's Jin Chol and Hansu, who clearly share some sort of history with Kim as well, along with the arrival of the new number 66, who could be a proper physical match for him. Right now, Agent Kim Reactivated has a really solid mix of action, emotion and intrigue, and after these opening 2 episodes, I am fully locked in. Honestly, I hope Friday hurries up, because this looks like an unmissable K-drama. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.